Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Is it? No, it's just afternoon in Miami, where my guest today, Fred Bean, he's the founder and CEO of Hotelport. Good morning, good afternoon, Fred.
Good morning, Graham. Thank you. And that's a mistake that a lot of people almost make. They like to say travel port instead of hotel port, but completely understandable. Thank you.
I almost said Travelport. You're quite right, but it's not Travelport. The only similarity is port. The rest is different. So,
Sure.
Fred, Hotelport. We were having a little chat before we started recording. You've been in this business some considerable time. Hotelport is about distributing. In essence, is about distributing information, accurate content information around the electronic world for people to make sure that they book as many hotel rooms as they possibly can amongst your client base. Is that more or less accurate?
It is. We focus on the auditing aspect of it. So, one of the big challenges that hotels have right now is that there are too many channels to manage, and they don't have the resources to manage them. And channels come and go as it relates to the level of importance that they have. And getting the information to those third-party channels through the distribution mechanisms that have been created, over the last 20, 30 years in the industry, is fraught with some challenges. And so one of the things that was identified by hoteliers is that getting that content to third-party channels in the manner in which they were expecting and the level of accuracy that they demand required some auditing capabilities that we hadn't built into any of those distribution mechanisms. So that's where Hotelport comes in. With Property View, we've built an auditing mechanism that allows us to review and analyze the descriptive information, photos, any content that hotels are distributing to third-party channels, so that we can score the accuracy of the information and help them facilitate updates wherever that information is incorrect or omitted or incomplete.
My initial thought is that's a crowded marketplace to be in terms of the distribution of hotel information. But the thing that makes it different, by the sound of it, is your audit and the accuracy of the information you're putting around. Does that require a lot of human intervention?
So a lot is it's it's relative, right? So I like to say that there's artificial intelligence plus human ingenuity. We're never going to eliminate humans from the process, and that's by design. I personally, as much as I love artificial intelligence, I'm never going to trust it 100%. So I'm always going to want some human checkpoints in that process. So we do have a combination of a team of content analysts that are reviewing the information, but we have a lot of machine learning and artificial intelligence where, for example, artificial intelligence identifies about 94.1% of photos automatically. Whereas that means that it doesn't have to require any kind of human intervention to determine whether or not a photo is accurate or current for a hotel. And we do some of the same things on amenities analysis, and we can also do that with descriptions, menus, things of that nature. So you'll have a combination of the two going forward. But you're absolutely right. Content distribution might be a crowded market, but we're the only ones that are really doing auditing as a part of that. And so, what we've built, in my humble opinion, is one of the core sort of pillars of content distribution going forward. Because right now, other than the hotels that work with us, there are no tools that they can use on a broad scale to make sure that their information is accurate and up to date across third-party channels on an ongoing basis.
Okay, so the artificial intelligence, I'm assuming, really is a double check against natural stupidity, almost.
That's a great way of putting it. So yes, we know that as artificial intelligence continues to evolve, it does provide some opportunities to increase the speed by which we can get audits done. And that's, I think, critical because we're dealing with so many hotels, so many third-party channels, and so much information in general that we not only need to audit at the most granular level of detail, but we also need to be able to summarize that information so that hotels can receive it, understand it, and take action on it where appropriate or necessary.
Okay, and I noticed from your website you have sort of three strands, if you like, to your service offering. One is this basic product, or I say basic, I don't mean that in terms of its capability, but it's the thing called Essentials, which is presumably your auditing product. you have this rebrand when sometimes smaller chains will get absorbed into a bigger chain, or they'll change names, or they're basically trying to rebrand. And then you have the good old fashioned SEO optimized content where somebody's tapping away in a keyboard in a garage in Fort Lauderdale, or wherever they're doing it. Have I got that right? That there's three essential services that you sell?
Yeah, that's where we are today. And those services are really an extension of the core service is what we call content verification services. So when we talk about essentials, those are really the channels that move the needle, regardless as to where a hotel is located. There are, let's say a dozen, 2 dozen channels that drive the 80 to 90% of the online volume and revenue for a hotel. So no matter where you are, you're going to be on these channels. You want to make sure that your information is accurate. Beyond that, there are situations where hotels are going through brand conversions, which after the pandemic, brand conversions have skyrocketed, partially because of success stories like Sonesta and others that have come out of it that have, grown in scale. And so you had a lot of flag change activity. And so one of the things that we noticed is that a more flexible solution needed to be created that allowed us to do things on the fly in addition to our typical ongoing monitoring product or service. And so when a hotel comes to us, regardless as to if they're part of a major brand or they're an independent or what have you, they will subscribe to our rebranding service, where we basically provide a white glove service where we go and do all the blocking and tackling, searching, finding outdated listings, reaching out to those channels to facilitate updates. It's kind of a hybrid of a distribution and sort of a citation development service. And so it takes a little bit longer from the standpoint of how we're going after a lot of these secondary and tertiary channels to facilitate those updates. But rather than having, let's say 40 channels in the ongoing monitoring process, a hotel could have 125, 150 channels in a rebrander situation because of the fact that we're going after, locally relevant sites in addition to the major global sites that every hotel would want to be distributed on. And we found that resonates really well with hotels because they don't get that level of support anywhere else. And we've also taken on, if we need to manage other third-party tools that they use, like a Yext or Giada or something of that nature, we have the capability of doing that and auditing that information for them as well, so that we can kind of fold in as an extended arm of their online distribution and marketing teams.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a very, very comprehensive offering that you have for hotels and mainly hotel groups. At the moment, you're presumably US based solely, or maybe not, I don't know. But what's the plans? What if I am a hotel group in Guadalajara, Mexico? Where can I get my support from? Where can I get information from? Can I sign up with you? What if I'm in Delhi? What if I'm in Birmingham, England, as opposed to Birmingham, Alabama?
Absolutely. We are location agnostic. So we want you, if you are in Guadalajara, if you're in the UK, if you're anywhere around the world, if you're distributing your content to third-party channels, you should be working with Hotelport and subscribing to Property View. We are already a multinational organization. We have resources in the US, obviously, because that's where we started. But we also have an office in Munich, and we have resources in Warsaw and other in the Philippines as well. We're looking at where and when we're going to expand those resources based on the language requirements of some of our customers. For example, a couple of the major brands have had us pilot our services in Mandarin, which we now have the ability to offer for our clients that require content to be audited in that language, as well as Spanish. And I believe we have Czech, Polish, and a couple of others. And we'll continue to expand that based on the requests or needs of our customers. So our expansion plans right now include continued growth in the Americas, but we have a team of, I believe, 5 or 6 salespeople that are working on expanding our footprint in EMEA, as well as ASPAC. So, and that is in addition to some of our reseller partners, like Leonardo Worldwide, that are also helping to sell and extend the reach of our product in Europe as well. So we expect that that's going to continue. And it's also the reason that we formulated partnerships with folks like Giada and others, so that we could tap into those distribution channels that matter to the hotels in those regions. so that they can also improve the accuracy of their content and raise the level of conversions that they're able to provide those hotels.
Good. Final question. Do you distinguish between English English and American English?
I have to, right? It's one of those things that we take a look at, especially since we've added some customers in Scotland because of one of the partnerships that we have. We have, I believe, 5 marine and lawn hotels over there. So while, in general, as we look at the OTAs, many of them are, translating information from one language to another in an automated way. We do take a look at the information from the standpoint of there are certain tonal differences when we're talking about U.S. English versus UK English. So even though it might seem kind of funny, it is something that we do take very seriously as it relates to what's considered accurate from a content perspective. And we're able to normalize some of that across languages, but it is something that part of the reason that we've been so slow in rolling out new languages is because we wanted to have people on staff that could read and understand what is being audited, so that when we're requesting changes, that they're factual changes, not just based on the automation from Google Translate or other translate services that are out there.
Good. Fred, I wish you the very best of luck.
Graham, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
All right, talk to you soon.